Among Christians and other believers, there is an explanation for our existence in the universe, known as the Anthropic Principle. The Anthropic Principle says that the universe is how it is because it must allow for the eventual creation of us as observers. It was thought of in 1974 by the astronomer Brandon Carter. Douglas Adams explains this concept and its shortcomings quite well using a puddle as an analogy. Quote, "If you imagine a puddle waking up one morning and thinking, 'This is an interesting world I find myself in, an interesting hole I find myself in. Fits me rather neatly, doesn't it? In fact, it fits me staggeringly well. It must have been made to have me in it.'" The puddle analogy, in its simplicity, shows how short-sighted the Anthropic Principle is, and how uncaring our universe truly is. Care comes from intent, and if a thing has no intent, then it does not care. We were molded to fit in the universe, not the other way around, and it shows all over the place. Oh, but excuse me everyone, where are my manners? Hello and welcome back to another episode of Thoughts. I'm Joe Van, and let's start this piece off with a spooky hypothetical situation, thought of as a solution for Fermi's paradox. In this video, I'm going to jump around from thought experiments to practical situations regarding humanity and space. And to start it all off, let's begin with the question. If there are so many stars with so many celestial bodies equipped for life to emerge the same as it did on Earth, where are all the aliens? And one answer comes to us as the dark forest hypothesis. It postulates that the universe is full of intelligent life, but, like hunters in a dark forest, they stay radio quiet in paranoia and fear of other civilizations. The dark forest hypothesis is a special case of the sequential and incomplete information game in game theory, meaning all players act in sequence, one after the other, and none are aware of all available information. In the case of this particular game, the only win condition is continued survival. An additional constraint in the special case of the Dark Forest is the scarcity of vital resources. The Dark Forest can be considered an extensive form game with each player, or collective civilization, possessing the following possible actions: destroy another civilization known to the player, broadcast and alert other civilizations of one's existence, or do nothing. In 1987, the now late science fiction author Greg Bear, who I know from the Halo Forerunner saga books, explored the concept in his novel The Forge of God. And in Liu Cixuan's 2008 science fiction novel The Dark Forest. In The Forge of God, humanity is likened to a baby crying in a hostile forest. Quote, "There once was an infant lost in the woods, crying its heart out, wondering why no one answered, drawing down the wolves. We've been sitting in our tree, chirping like foolish birds for over a century now, wondering why no other birds answered. The galactic skies are full of hawks, that's why. Planetisms that don't know enough to keep quiet get eaten." In Liu Cixuan's novel, the Dark Forest hypothesis is introduced to the character Ye Wenji while visiting her daughter's grave. She introduces 3 key axioms to a new field she describes as cosmic sociology. 1. Quote, "Suppose a vast number of civilizations distributed throughout the universe on the order of number of observable stars, lots and lots of them. Those civilizations make up the body of a cosmic society. Cosmic sociology is the study of the nature of this super society, based on the Drake equation. 2. Suppose that survival is the primary need of a civilization. 3. Suppose that civilizations continuously expand over time, but the total matter in the universe remains constant. The only logical conclusion from the acceptance of these axioms is that any intelligent life in the universe will be pitted against all other life in the struggle for survival." Now, while the concept itself is probably the scariest possibility for why we don't have alien neighbors, another possibility holds more weight. It is one of the scariest mysteries of the universe, the concept of dark matter and dark energy. No, really, it's not boring, it's scary. According to current scientific understanding, the matter that we see in the universe, including stars, planets, and galaxies, only makes up about 5% of the total matter-energy content of the universe. The remaining 95% is composed of dark matter and dark energy, which scientists have not been able to observe directly, but can only infer from their effects on visible matter. Dark matter is a type of energy that doesn't emit, absorb, or reflect light, making it essentially invisible to telescopes. Its presence can only be detected through its gravitational effects on visible matter, such as stars and galaxies. The exact nature of dark matter is still a mystery, and scientists are actively searching for clues to its identity. Dark energy, on the other hand, is an even more enigmatic phenomenon. It is a hypothetical form of energy that is thought to permeate all of space and is responsible for the accelerating expansion of the universe. For those who don't know, our universe is expanding faster than light due to some crazy goings-on with special relativity, and it means we will eventually be so far from other galaxies that the night sky will only consist of our Milky Way. A lonely universe, to be sure. We follow this movement using the redshift of the early universe and the one and only dark energy to explain it. So how can we do that? Explain something with dark energy if it's basically a nothing word, a placeholder for yet known energies? It's true we don't know much of anything about it, but within the framework of general relativity, using the accelerated expansion of the universe can account for a positive value of the cosmological constant, this symbol here, and equivalent to the presence of a positive vacuum energy. That vacuum energy is the thing that has been dubbed dark energy. So, regarding the accelerated expansion of the universe, it is thought to have begun since the universe entered its dark energy-dominated era, roughly 5 billion years ago. Dark energy's nature and origin are not yet fully understood, and it represents one of the greatest mysteries of modern cosmology. But we at least have more than a "we don't know, so let's call the unknown a thing." The existence of dark matter and dark energy suggests that there may be whole new realms of physics that we have yet to discover, and their elusive nature adds to the mystery and intrigue of the universe at large. And tiny. Scale is something people usually try to avoid because of how different it tracks, but I like to think there's a little dark matter and dark energy in all of us, not just the space between. But now listen, I don't want to just go over the spooky mysteries and theories about space that make it so elusive for us. I also want to go over the practical perils that face us up there, which should be considered when asking the question of what's up there and should we explore it. So far, we've gone over the dark forest, dark matter, and dark energy being great unknowns, but there are several challenges that the space exploration community may face in the future, including funding, technical challenges, space debris, competition, and more. You might be scratching your head at competition. After all, that's the one thing that is always supposed to be advancing human endeavors, but that's not always the case. Think about it like this. Developing new technologies for space exploration is a complex and time-consuming process, and there may be technical hurdles that need to be overcome as more countries become interested in space exploration. I'm not saying this is likely, but the increased competition for resources and opportunities, then, depending on what country certain materials needed are housed, could lead to delays and setbacks for the countries without. I just hope that scenario wouldn't lead to like a resource war. Either way, there's no real space race happening, and so that hurdle will never actually come into play, but it's still worth considering so we cover all our bases. With that thought about resources, though, it does bring up a big reason why we should be trying to advance our current forays into space. Celestial bodies, such as the Moon and asteroids, have been identified as potential sources of valuable minerals, materials, and resources for space exploration and exploitation. Some of the materials that have been identified as being potentially valuable include helium-3, rare earth elements, and platinum group metals. And not least of all, water. Water is a valuable resource for so many reasons. We can help impoverished nations, but also utilize it in space because it can be used to generate oxygen for life support. Ice has been found on the Moon, Mars, and other asteroids. So the extraction of these materials from the celestial bodies would likely require significant technological advancements, but They represent a potential source of valuable resources that could be used to support future missions and space exploration. However, it is important to consider the potential impacts, such as unknown space bacteria and what effect extracting the ice off the Moon and Mars could have on the planet. Now, to another consideration. The potential for permanent habitats outside of Earth. It's an exciting idea that's been explored in both science fiction and scientific research. There are several reasons why permanent habitats in space might be desirable, such as colonization helping with population control, new research possibilities that we haven't even thought of, disaster preparedness, and a new, exciting space economy. The development of permanent habitats in space could spur the growth of new industries and jobs. However, there are also significant challenges to overcome in order to establish permanent habitats outside of Earth. These include the cost of difficulties of launching and assembling large habitats in space, the development of sustainable life support systems, and the long-term health impacts of living in low-gravity environments. So, while the idea of permanent habitats outside of Earth is an exciting one, it will require significant advancements in technology and a sustained effort from multiple countries and organizations to become a reality. Nevertheless, the potential benefits for such habitats make it a worthwhile pursuit in the future, albeit a perilous one. And not just for the reasons mentioned above. We got more! Let's say the Dark Forest is not what becomes of finding space neighbors. The discovery of intelligent extraterrestrial life could have far-reaching political consequences, such as the discovery of extraterrestrial life could lead to competition and conflict among nations and organizations as they vie for resources and access to new technologies and knowledge. So infighting essentially to win particular national favor from our green boys. But now I'm drifting into deep space speculation again, so let's head back into practical speculation for our final little thought on the subject, with the concept of sovereignty, or the right of a state or organization to exercise supreme authority over a particular territory. It's a concept that's not been well defined for habitats outside of Earth. There are several factors that would need to be considered for determining sovereignty over habitats in space, including 1. Ownership of assets. Who has the right to own and operate habitats in space, and what are the legal implications of that ownership? 2. Jurisdiction. Which countries or organizations have the right to enforce law and regulations? 3. International treaties. How would existing international treaties, such as the Outer Space Treaty, apply to habitats in space, and what new agreements might be necessary to govern such habitats? And 4. Resource exploitation. Who has the right to extract resources from celestial bodies such as the Moon and asteroids, and what are the legal implications of that exploitation? Given the lack of a clear framework for sovereignty in space, it's likely that international treaties and agreements will play a key role. It will also be important for the international community to work together to develop a framework for the governance of space habitats that considers the interests and protects the rights of all people. Overall, the current state of spaceflight and exploration is one of continued growth and development, with numerous nations and organizations actively engaging in a wide range of space-related activities. The future of space exploration is likely to be shaped by continued technological advancements, increased international cooperation, and the continued expansion of commercial space activities. But as far as what new discoveries may come from our continued activities, it remains to be seen, hence the notion of mystery being one of terror. I'd be remiss if I didn't add one quote from Arthur C. Clarke here. 2 possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. And so now I want to end this thought piece with a ditty from yours truly. In the darkness of the night, where shadows play and dance in fright, there lurks a fear that grips the soul, a terror which we can't control. The unknown whispers in our ear, filling us with dread and fear. Its icy fingers chill our bones, still we face the great unknowns. The depths of space, the ocean's floor, the future that lies in store. All holds terrors yet untold, and secrets we can't unfold. Our minds create the worst of all, monsters within that make us fall. And in our dreams they come alive, with teeth as sharp as any knife. We fear what we cannot see, the things that may or may not be. And in the end we must accept that some things we intercept must face the unknown's power and hope that we endure the hour. For in the end we must abide and face the fear that lies inside. Thanks for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe for more of my videos. I appreciate you all to no end, wish you nothing but love in your lives, and ask you to remember to keep on thinking. Until next time, ciao for now. Peace.